only thing we have to
Beer.
is
Beer.
itself.
Beer. So many choices.
Oh, we no function beer well without.
Woohoo! Beer!
Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Busters, where we're going to bring you the news and reviews of some wonderful brews. My name is Dan Baker, as always, joined by my co-host and brewologist,
Steph Hefner.
and our from entertainer,
Wayne Baker.
Now, today, I'm very excited because we are, yet again, we're out and about. We're on location somewhere I'm very excited to be, and there's a lot of history and a lot of fun stuff about this place that
A
we'll
lot
get
of
to.
labyrinth-like corridors.
There is also that.
Yeah.
But we are on location at Bube's. And if you're not familiar with Bube's, we're going to tell you all about it while we're here. But we have two guys with us that are kind enough to share a little time with us. We have...
How's it going? I'm Brad Moyer.
And...
Steve Knott.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for having us out here. I'm very excited to be here.
Oh, no problem.
And
I'm glad you came out.
These guys make the beer, so they're the most important people in the building.
Yeah, the important
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Now, we have a lot in front of us, and there's a lot that we're going to do today, so I want to get this show on the road. All right. I always say this, but I'm gonna keep it relatively short. So here's some things you might have heard by the time you hear this episode. But anyway, this one is specifically for Steph. Steph,
Sweet.
I thought of you when I saw this article. If you are looking to put a little spice in your palate, Rogue may have introduced your next obsession.
The Sriracha beer!
All right.
I'm so excited
Yes.
about this.
In their ongoing
I
quest...
think you just got scooped.
Yeah, pretty much. In what seems to be the ongoing quest to flavor the world in Sriracha, Rogue has released their newest concoction, which is the Sriracha Hot Stout beer. Reportedly coming in at 6.5% ABV. The newest addition to the Rogue family is brewed with the classic Hoi Fong original hot chili sauce and sun-ripened Rogue Farm ingredients. Rogue has been testing the hot stout on location at their brew pub in Oregon, and the reviews so far are pretty favorable from what I've seen. By the time you hear this episode, it will have been released. It is $13 per bottle. You can buy it from Rogue directly, or I'm sure it will be at your local bottle shop.
Or you can buy it and have it mailed to my house.
Yeah, there is always
Christmas
that.
is coming up.
Yes, it is. Just to kind of go through the rundown of other Rogue selections, they have their Voodoo Donut series, which all of them are great. I love them. The Morimoto Black Obi Soba Ale, Yellowstone IPA, the Beard Beer, which we had on the show. There's Chipotle Ale, the Old Crustacean Barley Wine, and there's so many more from Rogue that
This
are
one
worth
better
your
be
time.
spicy, though. Don't tell me it's Sriracha and then, like...
And then
I want to feel the Sriracha. I want to know what's in there.
Yeah, from
I
what
don't think Rogue will disappoint.
Right, from what I understand with the reviews on it so far, you're gonna like it. Specifically, you, Steph, will like it.
If it passes the Steph seal of approval
We'll see.
for spicy
We'll have
beers.
to taste it on the show.
I'm sure it will. Now, I wanted to keep it relatively short, so there's only one other story that I'm going to do. This article starts off. What do you get when you combine water, American permissions, and hops and ferment it with yeast? A beer based on a 300-year-old recipe scribbled in a cookbook kept by Virginia's prominent Randolph family. The Ardent Craft Ales in Richmond recently brewed the Jane's Persimmon beer, unearthed from the book in the Virginia Historical Society's collections from the 1700s. And this book contains food, medicinal remedies, and beer recipes. This formula is a 300-year-old recipe that they started to brew. You can feel a connection across time when you were drinking something that maybe hasn't been drunk for a couple hundred years, said Paul Levengood, who is president and CEO of the Virginia Historical Society. It's a fun way to bring the past into the present. Now, as one would expect, the process of brewing this beer was dramatically different from techniques that you use today. Where current recipes include very specific instructions on the amount of ingredients and timing, this handwritten formula of just a few short sentences contains no detailed instructions or quantities. The
Does
first
it say like a goodly amount of?
Yeah, I didn't see a picture of
a
the recipe,
gentleman's
but-
pinch.
Yeah, exactly. The first raw run using about 17 pounds of permissions yielded only 3 gallons of beer. There's a lot of other stuff that's inside of here, but basically there's a 300-year-old recipe that is being brewed in Virginia.
That's pretty cool.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've never actually tried what Dogfish Head did. Like, didn't they do like a whole series of ancient ales? Or and I've never actually tried any of those. I've always been interested to.
Wait till you try Boobies. We got a secret one up our sleeve.
Ooh.
It's only about 150 years old, though.
Only.
Yeah. Working on it.
Working on it.
Well, just give it another 150 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Then we got to let it age.
Yeah.
We got time, right?
Yeah, totally. I can record the whole time if you want.
Yeah, please.
It is a MacBook. It can do anything.
Plug for Apple, yay. So that is the exciting end of the news because
we're that much closer to the beer.
Yes, we're that much closer to the beer, but we're that much closer to getting to know the guys that were kind enough to join us for this episode. So I'm very excited that you guys have taken the time to join us today, and so far you guys have been very gracious hosts, and I can't thank you enough for that. So you guys, for Boobies, are the brewers, correct?
Yeah,
right.
we are it. Probably back in June, I was actually on a beer vacation out in Chicago, and we were at Three Floyds, Goose Island, and all these places, and I get a phone call literally from a friend who was like, "Oh, hey, Boobies is looking for a new brewer," and I'm like, "Oh, man." This place wasn't necessarily known for beer a couple years ago. It was ho-hum here and there, and I was like, well, I'll throw my name in the hat, basically. Literally the next day, I was sitting at the pub in Chicago, and they were like, we want you to come in for an interview right away. Here we go. Came in and interviewed, and they said, okay, you're it. Let's go. And literally within 2 weeks, they said I could bring on an assistant brewer, and I brought on Steve, and they were like, let's go, next week, start brewing, literally. So,
Wow.
Just like
That's
that.
awesome.
Wow, no lag time. That's awesome.
No, it wasn't that easy, though. It took us a little bit to clean the place up and get it ready. I mean, you got to keep in mind the brewery sat idle since about April. So there was a lot of cleaning to do. A lot.
Yeah.
I mean,
Are you willing to clean this? Yes. Okay, you're hired.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
Dude,
we
I
were
was
in
Mary
BD
Maid's
too.
bitch.
Yeah.
I'm serious. It was dirty. But we hand scrubbed everything, took it apart, scrubbed it, steamed it, acid cleaned it, put it all back together. And I'll tell you what, she's shiny, ready to roll, and pumping out some good beers again now. It feels really good to, see the beers flowing again.
What was the first beer that you brewed after you had it all cleaned?
The first one was actually called Fresh Start Farmhouse Saison. Basically, we did a real traditional low table Saison, maybe about 4% alcohol, and we loaded it all with New Zealand and Australian hops, actually. So it was all flame out, loaded with Motueka and loaded with Nelson Sauvin. I mean, it was really punchy for only being 4% alcohol.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, it had a nice aroma to it, but no hot bite, but all aroma.
That's cool. So what was the second beer that you brewed?
The second one was...
I'm just going to run through the whole list.
Would you like to hear the third and
In
fourth, too?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
The third, we actually did our... at the time, we called it Espresso Yourself Stout, which we used with a local coffee roaster in town here to do a stout that I've always been very happy and with the results. And recently, we just changed that to our Elementary Espresso Stout, which we were very fortunate and happy to pair with Andrea Musselman over at Elementary Coffee Roasters in Harrisburg, who comes from a brewing pedigree family herself. Her husband was Tim Musselman, a.k.a. Moose, over at Trogs. And now he is the head honcho #1 dude at Jack Cider down near Gettysburg. So
Nice.
she has been she roasted up this special blend just for us, and we were trying coffees and trying all kind of stuff, and we were fortunate to land this nice little collaboration. Now we're actually going to keep that as a house beer, so it's
Yay!
pretty cool. That's cool.
That makes me happy.
Yeah, she's really, really awesome. And
Not only does Steph love spicy beer, she loves coffee beers too.
me
Coffee
too.
beers are
Oh.
incredible.
If it's done right, it can be a game changer. Amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you do a spicy coffee beer?
Has anybody actually
I
done?
did. Yeah.
Did you? Oh,
I've done a homebrew where we've aged oak chips in actually Frank's Red Hot, and then
Nice.
That's a good sauce.
then dried them out in the oven to make sure they weren't oily. Then aged them in the coffee stout, and it was really cool.
That's awesome. And you've been homebrewing for about 10 years, you said, right?
Yeah, probably about 10 years now. I actually had a teacher in college who I took his class because I heard that he homebrewed, and I thought it was really cool. And I always thought homebrewing was this big, expensive, hard hobby, and he was like, why don't you come over on a Saturday, and I'll show you how to do it. And I was like, oh, wow, this is weird for a teacher, and God, it's been downhill or / uphill or way you look at it since, you know what I mean? But yeah, I credit to him all the way. We still keep in touch 10 years now, and he comes down here, and so he retired, but it's still cool to see,
Has the student become the teacher?
yes, by far.
Very cool.
It's very cool.
And you wrote your thesis about the craft beer industry.
I did. I actually double majored as a business major as well as mechanical engineering.
Oh, man.
Yeah. My mom cried a little bit when I stopped doing mechanical engineering and become a brewer.
Yeah.
She was like, 5 years of loans for nothing. No. But, I had to do a big thesis on an industry I'd like to work in someday, and I just figured craft beer was it, and, God, that was the best semester I've ever had. I got to interview Sam, Dan Weerbach, all the rock stars, and Bill and Ron from Victory. They all got time to sat down and talk to me. You know what I mean? It was really cool, really humbling to see what it was like to be in that industry, and it really made me think, because I like engineering. It's fun, but I can't be stuck behind a desk all day. I found it out. I did it for a couple of years. I was like, I can't do it. I'm just too crazy.
And every day that you're in the brewery, you are applying your engineering
Yeah.
knowledge.
Right.
So, Mom, it's okay. The degree was not for not.
No, she's cool with it now. It was just about 3 days where she hated me. But after that, we're
got
cool.
over it, yeah.
We're cool now. We're cool.
You also mentioned before we started recording that you do winemaking as well.
I do futz around a little bit with winemaking. I make a lot of wine. I'm also the day manager and run everything at Scotts and Brothers Homebrew Supply up in Lemoyne. So I deal with a lot of winemakers, and I figured what better way to get into it and make wine myself. You know what I mean? So if it can ferment, I will try to make it. I've made foods that ferment. I've made, cheeses. I've made, I mean, it's really quite a sickness at this point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But wine is actually really fun. I mean, if anything, beer has made my perception of wine and spirits and other things become much more sensitive, and I've learned a lot from pulling flavors from different worlds that you definitely don't get to try every day. You know what I mean? Right. So it's very, very, it's good. I think it's good to be well-rounded in that, and I think if you're a home brewer and you're like, wine, you should try it. You really should. And same if you're a winemaker, you should try beer, too. I really think that it's important that you get a well-versed, experimentation with everything. And Steve and I have done some biofuels distillation already, you know what I mean? But and that's come out really fun too, you know what I mean? But it's a learning process, absolutely.
So you mentioned Sam, and your first actual job in a craft brewery was at Dogfish. Now, not as a brewer, but
actually, that's where I kind of got my little break. I worked at a homebrew store down in Delaware called Extreme Brewing, and if you've ever read Sam's book, Brewing Up a Business, there was this man who kept peering in the window of his Rehoboth pub every day. And so, when are you going to open? When are you open? Well, his name is Doug. Doug owns Extreme Home Brewing. And I worked for him, and he said to me, he's like, hey, they're looking for help just pouring beer, selling T-shirts at Dogfish Head. Do you want to go up and work on weekends? Sure, why not? So I'd go up, work after, selling T-shirts, pouring beer, and then it's a couple nights during the week. Do you want to go up and sell T-shirts again? Well, I worked 6 to 2 as an engineer. I'd go up from 3 to 7, go sell T-shirts. Then it turned into, hey, we're shorthanded. Can you help in the bottling line? Yeah, why not? And then, hey, do you want to learn how to rack beer? Yeah, why not? Do you want to help run hops? You know what I mean? And then I was like, oh, man, this is getting more and more fun. I found myself wanting to work more at Dogfish Head than I did at my regular job. Right. And I was like, you know what? I left my engineering job.
Did your mom cry for 3 days?
That was the one. Yeah, that was the one.
That was, okay.
Yeah, I was afraid to come home that day. But no, and that's where we said, I stayed there for a while, and they literally took me by the hand and showed me everything, which was really nice. I credit, them for giving me, quote unquote, the break in the industry, because I mean, sure, you can understand it's not the easiest. Sometimes there's a lot of breweries and a lot of people who want to be in a brewery, but you all need experience, or vice versa. You know what I mean? And it wasn't easy, but that's what did it.
And of all the places you could pick to get your first experience, it's you certainly could do worse.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I went down when I interviewed down there, actually. Being I came from my engineering job, I was wearing a stinking sweater vest, a tie, and and Sam's like, "What the hell are you wearing, dude? Get out of here!" He's like, "Take that off now." We went over to the T-shirt hut, and he gave me a T-shirt. He's like, "This is better, trust me." He was really cool about things,
So from there, you went on then to Appalachian Brewing Company in Harrisburg.
Yep, around that time, I was getting ready to get married, and my wife was like, I want to come back to Pennsylvania, where we're from, and I was like, well, maybe I'll look into getting a brewing job, and I applied everywhere around town with minimal experience. I'd say some people were like, a little sketchy about it, but Appalachian Brewing Company was actually looking for an assistant brewer to the head, and I got a lot of great experience through them. I worked there for about a year and a half, or so. A very large brewery that is very manual. Nothing it's not automatic at all. So it makes you problem solve a lot. It makes you troubleshoot. It makes you have to hump hoses from 100 feet away. You know what I mean? But I'll tell you what, almost everything I learned there applied to this little 3.5 barrel brewery here now. You know what I mean? When we're only brewing 5 to 7 barrels, you know what I mean? And it was definitely something I could never replace, you know what I mean, without having to work on something like Dogfish Head where you just push a button and walk away.
Yeah. I imagine that sort of really hands-on manual experience.
Yeah.
It really prepare you for this being in a smaller scale setting.
Yeah, yeah.
Because there's no touch screens downstairs here.
No, now I just go, Steve, hey, I need no, I
learn to delegate.
Yeah, no, it was really a fantastic opportunity. It really was. And you know, unfortunately, I was against getting married and stuff, and I was like, I better make some more money at the time. Because we all know brewers are wonderful, hardworking people, but they're not millionaires. No. So I never seen a brewer driving a Porsche. I just want to, but so I went back to engineering for a little bit, and then around that time is when I landed at Scotts and Brothers, working part-time, and before you know it, I ended up losing my job as an engineer, an economic downturn there, and the owner said, you want to buy into the place and make this a 7-day. It used to be only 2 days a week for limited hours, so we came and turned it out 7 days a week. We're shipping across the country. We're the second oldest homebrew store in the country.
Oh, wow.
And we're the largest in the state now, which is pretty cool.
That's very cool. Yeah. That is really cool.
So we're really like humping around trying to get that to be something really big and successful. Now we just launched a website and everything, so we're doing all that. I know it seems like things that we should have did like 10 years ago, but we're
doing them now.
Better late than never.
Yeah, exactly. I always joke that next year we're going to get indoor plumbing, so it's very exciting. Yeah.
That will be an exciting day.
Yes, yeah. The buckets are getting old. They really are.
Yeah, I could
2015,
imagine.
the year of the toilet.
Year of the toilet.
Year of the toilet.
Yes. So that's my 8 to 5er. Then this is my night and weekend gig, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. I'm happy. I love it. You know what I mean? It's a blast. This isn't work to me. You know what I mean? This is fun.
That's the key.
That's what you need. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you could make $1 million being a highfalutin engineer, but if you're not having fun, what does it matter?
Highfalutin.
Yes, I said falutin. All right.
So, Steve, what about you? What's your home brewing history and past? We're not going to let you just sit there and drink beer the whole time. We're going to make you talk.
Well, that's fun.
That's all I want to do.
I started home brewing about almost 7 years ago now, and I just fell in love with it right away. I started out with a couple kits, and I had enough of the extract after about 3 batches, so I started collecting stuff to do all grain, and that's what I've been doing ever since. And I was really fortunate enough, that I knew Brad, and we did some stuff together before this, that he asked me to come down here and help him. And like you said, we have fun all the time down here brewing. It is a lot of work. It's a lot of cleaning.
Yeah,
it's mainly cleaning.
95% cleaning, 5% brewing.
You're a janitor who also makes beer.
I was going to say, I'm a janitor who makes board. Yeah,
the yeast makes the beer.
Yeah,
we
that's
just
exactly
make sugary water.
Yeah. So I have nothing real exciting in that respect. Always been a beer drinker.
I'll tell you what's really cool is I think Steve and I are very left brain, right brain. I consider myself to be very conceptual. I'm like, this is what we need to do. This is how we're going to go there. Steve is I'm going to give you the details on how to do it.
How to make it happen.
Oh, my God, yeah. So it's like yin and yang when we get in there. You know what I mean?
Cool.
It's pretty cool. And Steve being a mechanical contractor and carpenter by trade and owning many small businesses throughout his life, you know what I mean? It's great because there's certain things I may have a great idea how to do, but I don't freaking know the tool to do it or how to do it.
And it's funny because that mirrors also the engineer and the carpenter.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. The joke is always running that he has his utility truck out there with us, and I'm always like looking for do you have a one-armed monkey riding a unicycle holding an umbrella? He's like, I think I got one of those in the truck. Hang on.
Got everything.
Yeah,
there's always something to get it done.
Yeah. Do you have a left-handed screwdriver? Yeah, I have one of those in the truck. Hang on.
You two would make a great reality show.
Oh, yeah.
Follow the two of you around the brewery for a couple months.
Oh my God.
So I have a question. So Steve,
Yes.
you've been home brewing for about 7 years now. You said, how long have you been growing that goatee?
In October, it was 4 years.
Wow,
not bad.
That's impressive.
I was going to say, when did you get off the tour? Was ZZ Top?
Well, I have to say my inspiration, if you will, was Bob, who's the brewer at Sam Adams, or up in Boston.
Yeah.
We were up there with some friends a few years ago, and we got a chance to go back and meet him and talk to him off the tour. And I was like, I want one of those. and
And so you did it.
so I did it. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what a man looks like.
Well, and I think as brewers, the rule is your facial hair can be short if you have a full beard, as
Right,
you do, Brad.
right.
Or if you're just going to have the goatee, it's got to be a long one.
Right.
Yeah.
Those are the two brewer facial hair rules, I think.
Right.
That's it.
And we sometimes wear long sleeve shirts.
Sometimes.
Mostly T-shirts.
Yeah,
Yes.
mostly T-shirts.
Yeah.
Cargo shorts.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Cargo shorts.
Sure, yes, yes.
Cargo shorts everywhere, yes.
Now, Brad, I see you've got a really cool tattoo sleeve I was looking at. Do you have hops on there? I thought I saw hops.
Yeah, that,
I do see hops,
that is
yeah.
a whole craft beer sleeve I had
Oh, wow.
custom drawn for me.
Look at that.
Yeah, I actually at the bottom it starts the hops and works its way up to a tap handle squirting beer, the tap
that's what that
tap
is.
handle. I got a keg
wow.
on my bicep, the tube
Nice.
of California yeast. I actually have a little homage to Dogfish Head on my elbow, which is their 120 cap.
Oh, cool.
Oh, wow, look at that. Oh,
That's
cool.
kind of like where I got my start, and then have like a growler of IPA
Right,
yeah.
on the
yeah.
side, and it was kind of cool.
Fermenter there.
Yeah, I had the guy. I was like, "Listen, let's just do this thing," and I brought all these weird items into him, and I said, "I'm going to give you about 2 weeks to sit on this, and let's think about it." And he freehand drew everything on my arm.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And then we sat down and just started hammering it out every month for about a year and a half. And
Oh, my God. About how many hours did that one be?
probably about 75.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. Some
It
days.
looks really cool,
Yeah,
though.
no, he did. It was pretty
good.
cool because he said he never did anything like it, which was cool. And I know he entered it in like some tattoo thing he did in Baltimore, and he got like an original piece award.
There you
something
go.
Like that.
Oh,
So it was
that's cool.
pretty cool. Like,
Did you get any portion of that award since it's your skin?
oh god, no, no. I'm just a blank canvas. That's all I am. No. But yeah, I always joke it's my resume. You know what I mean? now that I don't need to be stuck in an office all day, I can get tattoos, and
Yeah.
piercings, and look
Yeah.
like a bum again. You know what I mean?
That is always nice.
So there's one thing I want to ask. I know that Wayne and Dan are itching to taste some beers, but one thing you mentioned when we were
Steph isn't?
talking...
Wait.
I know. What?
Whatever. I'm always ready for beer. One thing you mentioned when we talked before recording is you guys are going to have a bottle release in the future here. That's something that's never happened here at Boobies before.
Yeah, we got 3 coming up actually.
That is amazing.
We got 2 we're going to taste tonight actually, and scarily, it's the first time that we're tasting them too.
We can always cut it out now.
They've been in there since about September so far. So the first release is going to be around middle of February. That's going to be our bourbon barrel aged Quadcept, which is our Belgian quadruple that came in around 11% alcohol. That's aging in a really fresh, really wet, Jack Daniel's barrel we got from a nice place. Then we also...
From a nice place.
I don't want to tell anybody because that's like our secret honey hole for barrels.
Not giving it away.
A very nice gentleman.
It's a good barrel place.
Yeah, because
That's
I know
all
as-
you need to know.
I
And
knew
we'll
it-
stay
yeah,
that
that's
way.
it. I know as soon as I say it, every stinking homebrewer is going to go grab one of
Probably,
them.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and then the second release will be probably in April. That is going to be our applesauce apple ale / cider that we have going in a Heaven Hill whiskey barrel that once held some guys. I know you know the Sons of Alchemy Homebrew Club, which Steve and I are a part of also on the side. They did a Russian Imperial Stout in it, which held it for a year.
Which we tasted.
And we
Yeah.
did our first...
We did a phone interview.
Phone
That's right.
interview.
With Chris Harvey.
Yeah, I thought Harvey shared it with you, right?
Yeah.
Chris Harvey. What did I
Chris
say?
Harvey. Yeah.
Did
yeah.
I not say his name right?
Yeah, no,
oh, I
you
thought
got
I
it
said the
right.
wrong name.
But that'll be our second one. Will be the applesauce and the bourbon barrels, and then also I'm hoping for a July-ish one, which we're going to be filling probably tomorrow, which is our Amish drive-by barley wine, which is going to be going into a Christian Brother brandy barrel that is super wet of brandy right now.
I love the sound of that.
And the barrel's out in the truck. You can help us haul it in later. That'd be nice. It's heavy. So they're all going to be 750 cork and cage, limited release. You're going to have to get them here at the pub. Probably around 20, 22 a piece. Somewhere.
bad.
We haven't priced them yet, but I'm thinking 20, 22 a piece, somewhere around there. They're going to be hand numbered, hand labeled by us, and we're going to sign each bottle and everything
Cool.
like that.
That's really awesome.
So
you know.
save the bottle when you're done drinking it, of course.
Right, that'd be cool of you. Yeah, we're actually going to put like our little seal on there saying this is like the first time we ever did something like this here.
really cool.
Da. So you're really trying to open up the possibilities of what this place can offer. I think I had dropped a little hint to you earlier that we do have a native yeast that we're working with in the catacombs here, which are the caves that run below the dining facility. which you can actually dine in. It's a second dining area. There are actually old fooders down there that have been there for 150 plus years, something.
Wow.
That Alois Bube actually used to ferment his beer in. Well, I have a friend, Matt Miller, who has a blog of his own, sourbeerblog.com. He goes by the little name Dr. Lambic.
Nice.
He isn't. When it comes to sour and wild stuff, talk to that guy. He's on his own.
He's the man.
He's in his own planet. Trust me. He actually came down with a microbe set and everything, and he's a chemist and pharmacist, biologist, everything. So he shimmied him underneath one of those barrels, and he drilled a hole up underneath it and swabbed around, and took the wood slug out and rehydrated it in sterile wort and everything. And we actually found about 10 different strains of Brett in there.
Oh, wow.
And we did find some live yeast. So we are culturing them up live right now, and we're going to be doing...
That's
cool.
the 150-year-old?
That's so cool.
Ooh.
And then upstairs, which I'll take you around later and show you, is we actually have an old record book of Alois Bube's grain purchasing and such that he hand wrote and everything, all of his recipes in. We're actually going to page through that and try to find an original recipe and use that.
Oh, that's such a good
Yeast
idea.
in there.
That's awesome.
And that'll be another bottle release. That'll probably be later next year.
Yeah.
And that's exactly like the sort of thing that a place like this needs to do when it comes to beer is to go back to that.
The
The
history.
history. I mean,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
so much history to just pull from that.
Yeah, this place is old, very old, and it
Very
has so
old.
much fun potential. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I mean, you could spend, hours in here just wandering around. There's different hallways and caverns and
Yeah, it
rooms
seems-
and...
I mean, I'm sure to you guys, since you kind of know your way around here, when you know a building, it doesn't seem as big as when you first come in. But I mean, I've only been here once before, and today I've been in areas I've obviously never been in before,
right.
and it just seems like, oh my god, it just goes on forever. And there's this place, and there's that thing. And
Oh, yeah, we didn't even take you around yet.
yeah,
Just
I know.
wait.
That was just like trying to find a spot to sit down and record.
Yeah. I know, right? Jesus.
But it's awesome, and it's really awesome that you're digging into that history.
Yeah. And the what I kind of made reference to earlier, that this place has a lot to offer. Apparently, it is haunted.
Oh, very. Dude,
Okay.
that is I don't believe in that stuff, man. I'm telling you, but this shit's haunted, man. I'm not kidding you. We come in the mornings like 7:30, 8 o'clock, when it's completely dark in here. You'll hear doors slamming and stuff moving around.
Yeah, and we're the only two here that we know of.
That we know of.
And,
Literally,
you'll hear doors in other areas closing.
That is no joke. I believe in science all the way. That shit's real.
Wow.
And literally right behind where you're sitting there, I know there was one of the Alois daughters or nieces hung herself actually right behind where you're sitting in the bathroom.
Thanks.
There you go, Dan.
Okay.
Yep.
Is that the only ghost that's supposedly here, or are there other stories along those lines?
Probably more than I want to know, to be honest
Oh,
with you.
God.
I mean, the most history as this place has.
Yeah, Ghost Hunters on I don't know what channel it's on.
History or sci-fi?
Something like
or,
they've done a couple episodes here. Those guys,
a couple episodes.
Yeah, those guys.
Oh God,
those guys from Paranormal State or whatever from Penn State. If you ever heard of them, they did an episode here. Yeah.
Oh man,
That's cool.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff that goes on.
You know, it's funny because Dan said earlier we were talking about it, and then like he kind of had a moment. He was like, "Do you guys believe in ghosts?" And I was like, "I don't believe in ghosts at all, but I love being scared and like that creepiness. And like if I were here and the doors were slamming all around, like that's got to be."
Yeah, you can come into Sunday morning at 7:30 with us.
Yeah.
You'll believe that.
I'm good.
I think it's time to drink some beer.
Yeah, for real, right?
Yeah, calm those nerves a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. So.
Beer me! Beer me! Beer me! Beer me!
All right. So, what do we have up first?
I think we're going to go first off with the Tis the
I
Saison,
love that name.
which Steve and I were talking is we are not super crazy about like spiced Christmassy beers. And I don't mean like spicy like you're spicy. I mean like nutmeggy, gingery.
ginger. I actually do like this.
I like it in about 3-ounce moderations.
Yeah.
That's it.
The Tis the Saison is actually something we took a little twist on. It's we're particularly fond of farmhouse style beers here. This is a amber red Saison that we did with something that's not traditionally used in Saison, a grain called Special B, which imparts a little bit of a raisiny plum taste. Typically that would be a no-no in a Saison, but traditional. But it adds a little bit of a raisiny sweetness. We threw in almost a pound of dried orange peel at the end of the boil, and we aged it on 10 pounds of pureed and reconstituted cranberries. So it is holiday-ish, but it still carries a nice farmhouse backbone, which, like I said, we are very fond of farmhouse background here.
Yes.
No, that's the perfect way to describe
Yeah.
it. Holiday-ish.
It is holiday.
Like,
You
get enough of it, but
Yeah,
it's
It's not overwhelming.
No.
It is very good.
So good.
Yeah, it is really good.
Yeah, there's just a slight tartness and acidity from the cranberries, not much. The orange peel is there in the nose, but you still get that farmhouse funk, which we currently are trying to hone in some other cool stuff with that. And, being that it has such an old place and historic, I like to keep that old rustic kind of feel to our beers.
Yeah.
Very nice.
It's good.
Yeah, I know. Like I said earlier, that I do like the holiday spiced beers and stuff, but I also like saisons, and I like that farmhouse funk. And this is an excellent combination of the two, without either one being too much.
Yeah, it's definitely something different, and I think people when they see saison, they're kind of like, oh man, it's going to be like blonde and peppery and kind of earthy, and I'm surprised how well it's really taking off here, being that farmhouses are still relatively new to at least this part of the world's craft beer scene anyway here in Mount Joy, Pennsylvania. So it's going very well. And
Wait, that's not a German beer style.
Yeah. There's no Bach in this. Exactly. You know what I mean? But it's going over really well. If we have one left, I would like to do a firkin of it here coming up soon with something Christmassy, a little more just for maybe like Christmas, New Year's time. But it is a really fun beer, and I plan on doing it again with some more tweaks. I'm sure we're going to do something really, really fun with it.
We'll try a different yeast and try to get a little bit, some little different flavors out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that really, really dry, like horsey farmyard taste. But I can understand where people are like, oh, goat's ass, like no, I think that's good, But
it was always funny when you
Horse
have
blanket.
like when you say things like horse blanket, and you're like, what? And you're like, no, it's good.
It's
like,
good.
You don't
It's
understand.
a positive adjective.
right,
Yeah, exactly.
This beer tastes
How can
like
it be
the
positive?
Yeah, this beer tastes like the catacombs.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
This tastes like the steps in the caves. You know what I mean?
But it's awesome.
Yeah, it does have a tinge of sweetness, which, again, saisons typically aren't sweet, which I think what's giving that is the definite amount of the special B that's in it, which will impart a little bit of that raisiny kind of taste. And I wanted it to be a little more, customer friendly as well as Christmassy. Sugar plums.
Yeah.
Sugar
plums and fairies.
Sugar plums in the farmhouse.
Yeah.
I like that every sip that I took of that kind of brought out another flavor of it, which is cool. It's instead of just the same thing over and over again, you get the spices, you get the sweetness, then you get the mix of the both of them, and then there was something else that came out as I finished it up, and it's a really interesting drink. Like as the process of drinking, I really like that.
Cool. Thank you.
It's so easy to drink.
I know
too.
Steph's
really
glass
was.
is empty. I've been drinking. I usually
mine's
don't drink
empty,
this
too.
fast actually, but this is really good. It's super drinkable, and it's a holiday saison. Like that's exactly
Holiday-ish.
holiday-ish
Yes.
saison. Yeah.
It's non-denominational.
Right. Is it a C or an H in Hanukkah? I mean, which one is it?
Whichever one you want.
Okay, good.
I like that.
All right, I'm ready for the coffee.
Yes, so so we're going on to coffee next, right? The elementary espresso?
Yes,
All right.
huge tip out to my buddy Andrea. She's been a huge help with us. She actually kind of gave us the method for doing the coffee extraction. She coarse ground it perfectly for us. I mean, she roasted this just for us. I was like, man, she's awesome. So I went and get it.
Oh, yep,
Do you know
that's coffee.
What kind of coffee it is?
It is a
Just go with Arabica.
yeah.
That's the only word I know.
No, well, I did coffee beers, and we actually talked about how the different beans
Oh, it makes a
create
difference.
different
Yeah.
flavors.
I just forget
and-
the other names of beans.
And you weren't listening.
I was, believe it or not.
I wasn't really.
It is like it's like an offshoot, like hybrid, some kind of Sumatra.
It's so good.
It's a Sumatra-ish type, but
I thought you said Sinatra for a second.
it is Frank Sinatra.
It's Frank Sinatra coffee.
Right. You can have it your way. It's good. It's good.
Oh my god, it's so good.
It's such a beautiful smell.
Just like I want my spicy beers to be
Oh my
spicy,
God.
I want my coffee beers to have coffee, and this has coffee.
and not like the
Not like coffee with cream.
like
coffee.
Dunkin' Donuts, 10 pounds of sugar and
No,
20
that's-
pounds of cream, like bitter, dark, roasty
Exactly.
coffee.
Real coffee.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this actually has a great bold coffee flavor, but it also has a flavor that's a little more reminiscent to the aroma of coffee.
Yeah.
It's like it
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of tastes the way that coffee beans smell, which is really nice.
I feel the first time we brewed it, we used a little bit too oily of a roast, and that was with our first coffee roaster, and it after time, actually got a bite to it. And I found it was just a little too harsh after time. And I'm really glad to see that Andrea, I gave her, a sample of the beer first and then said, listen, this is what I want. And she, knew, oh, yeah, you need some kind of this kind. And I feel it's a much smoother, much more complex. You get the coffee, you still get the beer. You know what I mean? I think that's another thing, too. You get a lot of coffee beers where it's just coffee and no beer. I kind of think that's what happened to our first one. It was just
that was like an espresso
coffee.
shot with a little bit of beer in it.
Yeah.
But the bitterness is very well balanced. Sometimes, a really hoppy beer, a very strong coffee beer, the bitterness of the beer can take over. But it doesn't happen here.
You do get a bite. You did get a bite from it.
But it mellows out.
It does.
It does. Yeah, it gets.
Dare
It's
I
really
say it
smooth.
cleans up after.
Hashtag.
No hashtags.
Octothorpe.
Octothorpe.
All these inside jokes.
Nerd.
These guys have no idea what we're talking about.
Derp.
Yeah, they got derp. It does finish really smooth.
Cool.
Yeah,
Good.
it's
I'm
got a
glad.
really great
It
finish.
finishes really what?
Oh my god,
Smooth.
it's so good. Can I just say Boobies is back? And I'm so
Boobies is
excited.
back.
Boobies is back. Seriously.
That's
If we were
awesome.
still allowed to do hashtags, that would be a hashtag.
Boobies is back.
I think that's episode title worthy.
Boobies is back.
Boobies is back.
Yeah, we can do it.
Well, now that I know you like
Boobies
it,
never went out of style.
right? They never. When did anybody stop liking boobies? That is the question. I have a huge love for pepper beers too, but I know a lot of people don't like them, and I know I've scared.
What?
I have scared away a lot of people with pepper beers, and now that I know this, we got to get you guys down to do a batch with us.
Yes.
I think we should definitely do a batch with you. I think that'd be a fun.
Yeah.
I'm stealing the last sample of the coffee beer, by the way. Sorry.
That's all right.
You do know I'll get you a pint of it later if you want.
But it's right there.
There is more.
There is. I have a few barrels more.
We are at the place
We
where
could
it's
brew
made.
this and put really spicy peppers in it too.
Ooh. We do firkin with it.
Yeah.
We could do a couple one-off kegs.
Yeah.
Just brew this and do.
I know the guy who
do a
makes
couple
it.
different.
Don't
one-off
worry.
kegs.
Yeah. Really, you'll have to introduce us.
Oh. Yes. We need to do it. Do
Yeah.
it. I call first. I call dibs.
There you go.
Go to beer.
First.
All right. I guess we should drink this one next.
Yes. So what do we have up next?
As I'm chugging the coffee stout. This is actually Steve's beer. I want him to talk about it because I think what's really cool between Steve and I is that I mean, on paper they call him my assistant brewer, but I would never call him that because we're brewers together, and not only are we friends, but on top of it, we share ideas, we share recipes, and I think what's important is that Steve and I will alternate. You can make a beer, I'll make a beer. You know what I mean? This is 100% Steve's beer. I had nothing to do with this. You know what I mean? And that's how we do things back and forth, and we give each other the opportunity to be creative.
Sorry, I had to sip it already.
Yeah, I did too.
We were cheating. It's really good.
I saw I saw your eyes fluttering from the mouthgasm. That was awesome. Steve?
Oh yeah, well there's that's a raspberry porter. I did this a couple times as a home brew, and at first it wasn't enough raspberries. I really wanted the raspberries to come through, and I just kept every time I brewed it, I just kept adding more raspberries to it, and we did this. I'm going to say we had 3.5 to 4 barrels. We put 30 pounds of raspberries in there.
Which doesn't sound like a lot
No,
until
but-
you're pureeing it and
Yeah.
putting it in. And it's a lot.
Yeah, and it's a lot. And at first I was a little scared because, the first few days it was really, the raspberry was overpowering. And raspberries are kind of bitter to begin with.
Oh.
And I was a little worried that we went too far. And then, a week later it mellowed out. And I think it mellows out as time goes on. And it's a good beer. And every time I brewed it as a home brew, people loved it. It never lasted very long.
You've just received the ultimate compliment because Rich is drinking
Rich
your
is
beer.
drinking it.
All
And
right.
Rich does not
Thanks,
drink beer.
Rich.
Man, that does not like beer.
And I have photographic evidence.
It's
really
what I
good.
love about it. It's totally fresh raspberries. As soon as you even
Yeah.
sniff this
Oh, yeah.
beer,
Yeah.
that this is real fresh
Very
raspberries.
fresh
yeah.
and natural.
And then
yeah.
the roasted malts behind it is just brilliant. It's so good.
Yeah, that's one ththing I want to throw a little disclaimer out there. We decided we are never going to use any fake syrups, fake fruit, fake...
Good.
And nothing like that. No artificial, if we're going to do something fruit, and it's going to be way more labor, we're going to get less beer because the fruit's going to soak up we're going to do it the real way. This is real raspberries. I mean,
It's
our fingers
definitely-
were stained to prove it. I mean,
I admire that a lot because you're taking the quality over quantity approach, and that's fantastic. That's a true devotion to the craft.
yeah, there's no substitute. We decided that early on that there's. I know for a fact some previous beers here before we were here were using chocolate syrup extract and some other things and I don't know. I think that stuff tastes like wet dog hair personally. Which
unlike horse blanket,
right,
is not a
right.
good thing.
not a delicacy. Let me tell you. So no, we're definitely going to go over the quality over quantity. Definitely
That's
Good.
You know what I mean?
Although to be fair, Steph and I did collaborate on a jalapeno raspberry saison, and we used extract, but because it was a homebrew. And
It's
we,
okay.
We weren't going to mash up
It was
raspberries
good.
in your kitchen.
There are really good extract products out there.
There are.
Oh,
but you
absolutely.
definitely using the real deal.
I mean,
The raspberry
Takes a
was
bit
not my
extra.
concern in that recipe. It was the
But-
peppers, and those
yeah,
were
and those were
homegrown,
totally-
fresh picked
yeah.
peppers.
Yeah.
I know.
I mean, look at all those guys making those peanut butter beer and stuff like that. I mean, there's no way you could do it with real peanut butter.
No,
I mean,
that's
unless you have the most amazing plate filter ever and monoglycerite, which is some kind of enzyme you could put in and it breaks apart the oils and
Yeah.
But nobody's doing that. I mean, it's extract. Let's just face it.
Well,
It's
and,
extract.
and the powder product is really good at getting a nice peanut butter flavor in the beer. So when you
Right.
find a product that works, then
right,
go
right,
for it.
exactly. I mean,
But
that's fine. I mean,
here
there's-
the fresh berry product.
when it comes to
is
fruit, it's got to be real.
key.
It's gotta be real.
There's no
It's
substitution.
delicious.
Yeah.
Herbs,
absolutely.
spices, it's got to be real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no substitute.
This is a really delicious beer.
Cool.
Yeah, it is. Nice and
Yay.
complex. All right, so now we have some Happy Fun Times games. Wayne, you pulled a clip that I'm supposed to play. I've never heard this before, so we have this.
Attention humans. We will now initiate recreational diversion program Alpha Theta 27B, codename Happy Fun Time. All humans will configure cerebral matrices to trivia access standby mode. You will be entertained. Resistance is futile. Recreational diversion protocol format will be there's weird in my beer. Designations of fermented beverages will be relayed with multiple options of possible components deviating from normal parameters. Humans will respond with estimations of a genuine data point. Successful calculations will be rewarded. Failure will be punished.
Narrated by Stephen Hawking.
Okay, now you can play.
Now I can play the music. All right.
My possess, speak, and spell. That's what it sounds like.
That was a message. That was a message from our evil alien overlords.
All your base are belong to us.
Yeah, something like that. But anyway, if you couldn't understand any of that, and I don't blame you if you couldn't, we are playing There's Weird in My Beer. You probably know how this works, but just in case, I will tell you again. I'll give you the name of a beer, a brief description, and a list of multiple choice options as to the unusual ingredient that can be found in that beer. You guys will guess which one you think it is, and we'll alternate who goes first, beginning, as always, to my left with Dan. And the first beer is called Keep It Copacetic. It is a cream ale inspired by a classic Mexican street food, elote. Brewed with limes, chili peppers, and, is it black beans, popcorn, avocado, or cow stomach?
I'm going to go avocado. Also, side note, that is a song by the band Triple H. Local H. Local H.
Local
Yes,
H.
it is.
Triple H is a
The
wrestler.
wrestler?
Birthday, you just don't get it. You keep it
copacetic.
Do we have to pay for that now? They were
Probably.
like two guys, right?
I think so.
It was the drummer and the guitarist who was all, and they opened for STP one time, and what they did is they had a guy hiding behind the speaker, and then when they needed background vocals, he would run up to another microphone and sing the background vocals, and then run back behind
awesome.
the. Anyway, I also was going to say avocado.
Okay, Steph also says avocado. Brad, what do you think it is?
I was going to go with the popcorn, actually.
You're going to go with
Ooh,
popcorn?
wouldn't that be a brewing no-no?
Yeah, people do some weird shit.
That's true.
People do.
That's
People
true.
do.
I know it'd
Okay.
be so buttery and diacetally, but it's not saying it's good. We're just saying what they use.
What it is, yes.
Although avocado makes sense, but I'll go with popcorn to be different.
Okay, just to be different. Different's okay. Steve, what do you think it is?
I'm going to be different, too, and go with the black bean.
You're going to go with the black beans.
Yeah.
Well, Brad, you are correct.
I see them, yes!
It is popcorn, yes. It's a
Wow.
collaboration between Middlebrow Beer Company of Chicago and Man BQ. This cream ale was brewed with over 240 pounds of popcorn for a single batch to capture the flavor of elote.
Popped popcorn?
Boom.
Which is I don't know,
Or
actually. They
unpopped
weren't very
popcorn.
specific.
Was it buttered or unbuttered?
I don't know that either. But I do know that elote is a Mexican street treat of grilled corn on the cob. You've probably seen it, where it's in the husks and they grill it on the grill in the husks.
I like that.
It's sometimes topped with mayonnaise or butter, sprinkled with cheese, cayenne, or chili pepper, and lime juice. I love mayonnaise. I'll put mayonnaise on anything. I'll fucking eat it.
Corn on the cob?
Well, yeah, sure, why not? It was just released this past October, with half of the profits being donated to local Chicago charities. So, with popcorn, whether it's any good, I don't know, because it's so new, there weren't too many reviews. I came across 2, I think, on Beer Advocate that were kind of middling, so...
Bad homebrew taste.
We'll see. Yeah, that is the first thing. Diacetyl is definitely the first thing that comes to mind, but apparently that's the taste they were going for. So, moving along to Steph, who's going to go first on this beer, and this beer is called Happy Birthday. It's a special release vanilla double pills brewed by Great Storm Brewing to celebrate their anniversary. Fittingly enough, it is aged on vanilla beans and brewed with wheat, oats, and a fitting treat is that gummy bears, ice cream, cake, or wishes.
No rainbows?
No rainbows.
Unicorns?
Maybe.
Gummy bears,
Blood of the
cake,
unicorn.
wishes.
Gummy bears, ice cream, cake, or wishes.
Oh, God.
Not ice cream cake, but ice cream or cake.
Yes.
I'm going to say gummy bears.
You're going to say gummy bears? Okay. Brad, what do you think?
Oh, I'm going for the vanilla cake all the way.
You're going for the cake all the way? Steve, what do you think?
I'm going with the gummy bears.
Are you going to go with the gummy bears?
Yeah.
Okay. Gummy bears. Fair enough. Dan?
The cake is a lie, but I'm going to say cake.
The cake is a lie, but you're going to say cake. You are correct. The
Hey!
cake is
Yeah!
not a lie this time.
Happy
Dan and
birthday
Brad get it
to-
correct. It is,
Wouldn't that be a filtering nightmare?
Maybe I just brew a really lot of bad beers. You guys all know this. Crap, I tried that.
This is a made-from-scratch birthday cake, frosted and all, is added in the mash. It was first brewed in
What?
March of 2013. Happy Birthday returned for the brewery's second anniversary this year. According to Untapped reviews, the brew is quite tasty, not too sweet, and you can, in fact, taste the cake.
Steph is fact-checking the reviews.
That's what. So yeah, they put a whole freaking cake in there.
Wow.
Happy birthday, indeed.
Well, it's like Chris that did he did the cheeseburger beer.
Oh,
But
yeah,
he roasted the
at
malts
501, right?
with 508 with
508.
the cheeseburgers because he claims it is vegetarian friendly because no meat touched the actual
Right.
beer.
This
Nope.
beer is not vegan friendly because it had an actual real cake in it.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
Would it also then not be gluten-friendly?
Well,
I mean,
it
besides
wouldn't
the
be anyway.
beer, but like,
I don't know. Would you the Clarex? I imagine if
I don't
you,
know.
if you added
Fermex,
that,
or the,
that Brewer's Clarex that
yeah.
removes the gluten.
Clarity Firm.
Clarity Firm.
Clarity Firm, yeah.
It's got like 8 names.
Except for the
Yeah.
probably 250 pounds of malt. Yeah, no, I'm sure it's going to be.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yep,
so-
it has a birthday cake aftertaste.
See?
Says PJ, who had it March 18th.
There you
Thanks,
go.
PJ.
Thanks, PJ.
PJ, that's what she said.
And we're on the train.
We're on the train.
Has a birthday cake after.
Yeah,
That's what she said.
Uh,
Okay, we're moving on to our third and final beer of the game, and this beer is called Baudelaire Beer IO Saison. It's a
Had it.
tart and spicy red saison
Whatever
brewed
he
with
says.
hibiscus, and something befitting its red classification is that rose petals, red beets, tomatoes, or pig's blood.
Rose petals.
Everyone just
Say
say
rose
rose petals.
If you go
Steve, what
against
do you
me,
think?
you're in trouble.
I was going with the rose petals anyway.
And yeah, okay, sure you were. Dan?
Rosebud.
Rosebud.
Rosebud, he's out.
Rose petals.
Yeah, everybody's right. It's rose
Yay!
petals because Brad knew what it was. And
It's
he
always
was
great when the first person has
I
had the
should
beer.
have skipped you. I
should have said I had it.
I really was going with the rose petals.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. No, I believe
Good
it.
beer, though.
It's a very highly rated beer by Jolly Pumpkin, which makes who make very good beers. Is Red Saison was designed. Actually, the beer was designed around a label. So the label was made first, and they said, "Let's make a beer to go with this label," rather than the other way around. The
You
label,
should try that.
I
Make
know.
me a label and I'll
and
make
then
a
we'll
beer.
make a beer out of it. That's a good idea. The label in question depicts a seemingly sweet woman in need of rescue, of course, that leads her would-be rescuer into a descent into madness and hell.
Why is that, of course?
I don't know, because that part was copied verbatim.
Okay.
Actually, from a presentation that was given GABF or something by somebody that was all about beers that use unusual ingredients and when and why and how to's and wherefores and all that. But yes, Baudelaire beer IO Saison is made with rose petals, rose hips, and hibiscus. And adding up the scores on this edition of Happy Fun Time Games to see who is our big winner, we have, with a perfect score of 3 points, Brad
Boom.
is our big winner. Coming in just behind in second place with 2 points, surprisingly, to my left, is Dan. And sitting at the bottom with more than nothing, 1 point apiece, Steph and Steve. So, Brad escapes immolation by our robot overlords. The rest of you, the clock is ticking.
Oh, that's not good. Well, now that I lost, I want to learn something.
No, your beers. No, your beers.
Steph, what's up?
During this episode's installment of Know Your Beers, we're going to talk about glassware.
Yay!
Our friends at Beer Advocate have created a helpful guide for proper glassware, so we're going to steal some facts from their website.
Thank you, Beer Advocate. It's not stealing it because we're
borrowing
credited
it.
them.
That's true. Studies show that the shape of glassware will impact head development and retention. This is important because the foam created by pouring a beer acts as a net for many of the volatiles. I can't speak tonight, apparently, in a beer. Those are the compounds that evaporate from beer to create its aroma, such as hop oils, all kinds of yeast fermentation byproducts like alcohol, fusels, and fruity esters, spices, and other additions. So, a glass that promotes a healthy foam head may enhance the trapping of certain volatiles, as varying levels of head retention and presentation are desired. With different styles of beers, different styles of glassware should be used accordingly. So which glass do you use? Well, that answer is a little complicated. So complicated, I'm going to take 3 episodes to answer it. In Europe, especially Belgium, each brand of beer will often have its own glass. In fact, some breweries have been known to engineer the glass before the beer. And many bars will also stock unique glassware for every brand of beer they serve. While that sounds like a good idea to use glassware designed by the brewery, sometimes it's not an option. So let's look at 2 examples today. The flute glass. The long and narrow body ensures that carbonation doesn't dissipate too quickly and showcase a lively carbonation or sparkling color. Stems will often be a bit shorter than the traditional champagne glass, but not necessarily. The benefits of a flute glass: enhances and showcases carbonation, releases volatiles quickly for a more intense upfront aroma. Use these glasses with American Wild Ales, Bier de Champagne, Bier Brut, Bock, Czech Pilsner, Dortmunder, Export Lager, Eisbock, Euro Strong Lager, Flanders Red, German Pilsner, Lambic, Maibach, Helles Bock, Munich Dunkel Lager, a Munich Helles Lager, Schwarzbier, Vienna Lager, and Weizenbock. Let's talk about one more today. The goblet or chalice. These glasses...
That's my favorite.
Okay. These glasses range from delicate and long stem to heavy and thick-walled. Some are designed to maintain a 2-centimeter head. This is achieved by scoring the inside bottom of the glass, which creates a CO2 nucleation point and a stream of eternal bubbles and perfect head retention as a result. Eternal bubbles. So the benefits of your goblet or chalice: eye candy, designed to maintain head, and wide-mouthed for deep sips. Use this type of glass with Belgian IPAs, Belgian strong dark ales, Berliner Weiss, double, quad, and a triple. Well, that's all for now. We're going to talk more about proper glassware in upcoming episodes, so stay tuned.
So you said they actually score the glass to create nucleation points? That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. So it's nice and bubbly and pretty.
Yay, science.
Eternal bubbles.
Yes.
Eternal bubbles.
Eternal bubbles. Eye candy.
That's pretty cool.
And eye candy.
And yes, goblets are awesome.
Goblets are awesome. And they're pretty.
All right. So now that I feel a little bit smarter, it's time to kill those brain cells. All right. So what do we have in front of us now?
Okay, so what we got in front of us right now is the applesauce aged in the bourbon barrel. Ooh, it's still a little young. I'm going to let you know it is still a little young. As some of you may know from making cider at home or not, sulfur is a big compound in cider when it's a little young. Mm-hmm. So it still has a little bit of that farty smell to it. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, you can get it, definitely. But as you swirl your glass, actually, and let it sit, you degas for a moment, that sulfur starts to burn off, and you really start to get some of the delicate apple flavors, and you're actually starting to get a little bit of the vanilla, actually, that's starting to come out from the wood. Bourbon is probably low at this point. Again, it's only been in there 2 months. You know what I mean? So I don't expect much from it. But again, do expect a little bit of sulfur just because it is young. When you carbonate cider, it tends to also want to degas a lot of the volatiles that will be happening during fermentation. And when we champagne it, it should be pretty friggin' awesome by then.
You could serve it in a flute glass.
Oh,
Hey!
Oh, there you go.
Look what we just learned.
It does. The apple flavor is very nice, and it's interesting. I never knew that about that you mentioned about the sulfurs of the young cider. I never knew that, but you did know when you first pour it, you did get a bit of that, and then as it sits and as you swirl it, and that it does dissipate. Yeah.
If you were to swirl it and just let it come back, save a little bit, come back to it in about 10 minutes, it'll be even less and less
of it. I never knew that. It's really interesting.
It's quote unquote a little barrel sec basically right now. Basically,
Right.
when it comes out of there, it's going to be a little sulfury. I mean, you should have smelled it when it was fermenting in the tank. Holy moly! I mean, it smelled like an ogre took a dump in our brewery. It was bad. It was bad. It stank. You know, you're often, even when you make it at home, you're often walking by and like blaming the dog. You know what I mean? It stinks. Wow. It really stinks, but it's just something you get from apple fermentation. And even a lot of white wines too. Actually,
Oh, really?
When you make a lot of white wines, they tend to smell very farty for some reason. I mean, it's just something in them, and I'm not enough of a wine expert to explain why or how, but I just know it smells like a pickled fart when you're going by.
Wow.
But reds don't smell like that. They really don't. Reds don't. I mean, you've made wine before. You could
reds don't smell.
Yeah,
like
reds
that
don't
at
smell
all.
like that. But apples and white wines and pears stink
Pears,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But
It's all the light colored fruit.
Yeah,
It
pears
is. It is.
and apples and white wine.
It
all
is.
kinds of makes sense.
I would imagine though that with only being 2 months in there, another couple months, I mean that's going to pick up some pretty heavy wood flavors. I mean it's very faint at this point.
Yeah, you get some slight vanilla notes, and
Yeah.
it's it is very white wine right now. That's
Very.
the
It
first
is.
thing
It
I
is,
thought
yeah.
when I drank it. But
And you can tell. I mean, it is really young, and it obviously needs some more time. But you can tell that it's gonna turn into something awesome.
Yeah,
You can
I
already
agree.
kind of get from it.
Yeah, it needs time, definitely. I mean, it's getting there. I will say I'm happy with it. I think it's going to be very good when it comes out. You know what I mean? But as with anything, we got to wait a little bit. But this is the first time we tried it, so I had to rip into that barrel tonight somehow. But,
I feel honored that we got
Yeah.
to share
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
moment with you.
yeah, actually, you're the only one who's tried it out of the barrel, so
All right.
that's pretty wicked.
Exclusive.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to save. I know I'm going to just out of
Yeah,
my
let some of
for a
it
little
sit.
bit.
out of
Yeah.
my own curiosity, I'm going
Yeah.
to save a couple sips of it and just let it sit for about 5-10 minutes. And
Whoops.
Dan.
They just chugged it. He just put a glass in front of them and just clunk. It's gone.
I have some more over here for you, Dan, if you want.
Maybe, Steve, you
Appreciate
should
that.
keep it over there.
Yeah, there's some over there.
you let
give
him
it to him
sit and
later.
learn. You let him sit and learn.
That's right. Learn from your mistakes.
No, that's totally cool. Actually, I think if we even let it sit in the pitcher, it's going to degas a little bit. But
Yeah.
it's going to go somewhere. It's just very young, And I learned. I talked to Brad actually out at Jackie O's one time, and he said about at least 90 days in a barrel to start to pull any kind of flavors out of it. So at 60, I think we're doing okay so far.
So Steve was kind enough to pour something for us. What do we have here?
This is actually right out of the fermenter. This is the Belgian.
The quadcept.
No, this is
No?
not the quadcept. I'm saving that for last.
Oh.
That's barrel aged, and I'm saving that for last. This is 2 weeks old or 3 weeks
About
old?
3 now, getting about 3 weeks old. It's good. It's done fermenting, and it's been sitting on. This is our Belgio Bimbo. It's just a regular Belgian blonde aged on French oak that we had soaked in some homemade Chardonnay that I made last year. You're starting to get a little bit of the wood tannins out now, but you do. I think right now you're really starting to get like that acidic white grape taste in it.
Oh, yeah.
Again, with carbonation, it's going to be more prickly and obviously much more present. But I think for being off the tank and only a couple weeks old, I'll tell you what, it's getting.
Yeah, it's starting to pick up some wood.
Yeah. Soundbite.
Yep.
Oh, the pen's getting picked up again.
But it does have a little bit of a vanilla undertone, which is nice from the French oak.
Thought I got that.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and it's definitely developing some very nice flavors.
Yeah, again, these are the last like wild cards basically that are still on the tank, and we wanted to just give you like a little preview of what's coming up. You know what I mean? Obviously, not to expect like wonderful carbonated beer right off a tank.
Right,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? But
And you said this is 4.9.
Yeah, it's very low.
I love that there's a barrel aged beer.
That's-
Essentially,
that's
you get
still-
the feel
yeah.
of a barrel aged
In the
beer
session range.
with the oak chips, but it's sessionable. Well, don't tell Lou Bryson I said
know,
that.
it's like-
not
it's like
4.5.
right there,
It's
but
not
yeah.
4.5.
Pouring, Steve.
This is the IPA. This is very fresh. I mean, it's still.
It's probably still bubbling in the glass, so I'm just warning you. Like, you see that head on it?
Oh, that
that's
looks
Croydon.
Awesome.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Probably.
It's still going like crazy.
Like
in
we
the
brewed
tank.
that Sunday.
Ooh.
So if you're curious what wort and hops taste like,
Yeah,
here you
that-
go.
there it
This
is.
is the definition of green beer.
Yeah.
That looks awesome.
extremely.
Yeah, you don't.
Kind of
Well,
smells like
I guess
Fruity
you get
Pebbles.
a couple days greener than this.
Fruity Pebbles.
Got a soundbite for everything.
Pretty much.
For all occasions. I love that smell, though.
Yeah, it's still fermenting
Whoa.
crazy. I have not checked the gravity today. I couldn't tell you what the alcohol is on it right now.
When we're done, we'll go down and test it together.
All right.
It is very quote unquote green yet, obviously,
Yeah.
but you can get a good profile of the hop shots which we use, which is that hop oil, which we were talking about. It is still a little sweet. I'm sure it's probably still in the 40s, 50s range. Considering it
yeah.
started up in the 88 range, somewhere around there. So when it dries out, it's gonna be bone dry and dangerous. That's
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely.
nice.
So
I just have it's got a really lovely hop character to it.
So
right now.
what hops? I know you use the hop oil, but what actual hops did you use?
in the at the very end during the whirlpool, we do a bunch of flame out, and then we do like 2 whirlpool editions. At the flame out, we do Citra, Apollo, Amarillo. And then in the whirlpool, we'll do Columbus, Centennial, and Citra again. And then the second whirlpool, we'll do another dose of Apollo and Columbus again.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like
That's a lot of hops.
it's like 6.
That is a rogues gallery right there.
Yeah, it's like 6 pounds per whirlpool, basically, or 7 pounds of hops in the whirlpool. It's a lot. It's like it's again, it's a little hard to tell because it's still green and fermenting yet. But once it dries out, you're really going to pick up a lot of the aroma and the bite to it. I predict this will crash pretty dry down in the single digits. It's a really powerful strain of yeast. Again, our buddies up at Trogs have come through, and they know when we brew high gravity beers that it's hard for a small brewery to produce enough viable yeast to get something up like that. I believe this is the one where didn't they give us the yeast from this one too?
Yep.
This is
Yep.
their perpetual IPA yeast.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
They gave us a huge 5-gallon pitch of it. Again, I just graciously asked to buy it, and I'm like, please, could I buy some yeast from it? And they always hook us up, you know what I mean?
That's cool.
And send us with a bottle of beer on the way. So
They're
it's
probably
like,
like,
Yeah.
this, we would probably just put this down the drain anyway.
yeah, exactly.
And it's good
The
too.
amount they brew.
Perpetual is one of my favorite IPAs. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is actually a fun little fact about Trogs. When I was up there talking to him, I said about buying yeast, and he's laughing. He's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. I'll give it to you." And those 800-barrel fermenters they got outside now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know how much yeast they got to pitch for one of those?
Yeah.
A lot.
I think Mike actually told us
He
when
probably
we did the VIP
did,
tour, but I don't
but
remember.
I don't remember.
He's probably listening going, damn you,
I told you guys
this.
this.
I told you.
He's yelling at his phone.
Mike Ross doesn't know. Don't listen to him. No, he does. He's one of my good friends. Mike, I'm sorry.
Oh, Mike.
It's they were telling me it's about 41 barrels of yeast.
Oh,
I was like, it takes me 8 weeks to brew that. And I was like, well, you dumped down.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why they're giving you free
I know.
yeast.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, wow. I'm excited to come back and try this.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think this
yeah.
is gonna.
About
This is gonna be awesome.
two and a half weeks because we got to dry hop it. Yeah, we're gonna do a double dry hop on it and
Nice.
get her out. So
Wow.
yeah, it's already this good as a green beer. I can't even imagine what's to come.
it's gonna get nuts. Just wait. Like I said, double dry hop, and we're gonna do a couple firkins of it, do some fun stuff.
Hey.
And if you want to come out when I'll let you pick the hops for a firkin or something.
Yay.
That'd be
That'd
awesome.
be really cool.
Put some habaneros in it.
You
said hops.
Habanero.
Habanero. Trademark. I'm stealing that.
Habanero.
Don't tell the internet.
Damn tubes that lead to
Don't
hell.
forget, don't forget the tilde over the end.
Oh, I know the teal day.
Habanero.
Sweet.
See that?
Capsaicin Carnival is no more.
It's
This
now
is
gonna be habanero?
It's now habanero.
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 All right.
Habanero.
All right, so now we have in front of us the Amish Drive-By Barley Wine. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely.
correct.
All right, so what's the deal with this one?
This was a big bastard of a beer to brew. I'm
Big
telling
bastard.
you. It sucked to brew. I'm not going to lie. We actually had to do 2 heavy malt-forward mashes into 1 boil kettle. So we're talking like for
A shit ton of grains.
Yeah, 2 metric shit tons. Like for a 4-barrel batch, it was like 500 pounds of grain. Very English style forward. A little bit of Northern Brewer hops and of Willamette at the finish. We boiled for 2 hours to help get some heavy caramelization in there. Brown sugar at the end, again, in hopes to scorch it, get it going. Again, this is right off the tank, only about 3 weeks old now. Half of this is going into our brandy barrels, which you're going to help carry in then. And then,
By the way,
no, and then
we didn't have to carry the grain.
this would,
Remember all that free beer we gave you?
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that is a good.
Yikes.
And then the other half will be just put on draft throughout the year in multiple kegs. We're going to save kegs of it throughout the year and just drop it on whenever, kind of as a surprise. But the brandy barrel version will be probably filled this weekend. I think we're going to do that Sunday, actually.
yeah,
Fill that
probably
up.
Sunday.
This bad boy tipped out around 11.7%. It's warming, very, very warming. Of all the tank beers we tried tonight, so to speak, I think this is probably one of my favorites. I'm very excited for this to age. This is going to be a bottle release as well.
Nice.
We have a pretty cool label design ready to go. The show Amish Drive-By the show Amish Mafia does film here sometimes in the catacombs.
Really?
They do,
That's
yeah.
so cool.
Yeah, they film here a lot in the caves as like Lebanon Levi's like meeting area, whatever you want to call it. And we're gonna try to get him to come out the night that we release it
that'd
for
be
signing
awesome.
bottles.
I still don't get the point of that show.
No, nobody does. But what the hell? It's fun. It's fun.
There you go.
I really like the taste of this. And I'm used to barley wines being so heavy and powerful, and this is so.
It's definitely very
easygoing.
drinkable. I was going to. I had forgotten that you had actually mentioned earlier that this was 11%.
7.
I
yeah.
know.
And
Ouch.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was drinking it now, and I'm thinking, well, yeah, you get the alcohol. It's there. And I'm thinking this is probably around a 9 or so. And then you're like, I was like, oh shit, yeah, it's 11.
I wouldn't even put it around 9.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's not hot.
No,
No, it doesn't have the alcohol burn.
No, I feel, and I think it's one of those beers where this is something I've made numerous times as a home brewer and other instances in my career where I feel like if you layer the malt really well and you use the proper amount of caramel and melanoidins and munics and such, you can actually get a very deceiving beer, and that's what I kind of like. I kind of want you to be like, oh, shit,
I think
after
it's,
drinking a glass or two of it.
it's the brown sugar in the end that I think deceives you because you're expecting more of that really thick, caramelly, dark fruit sweetness, and you're like, ooh, brown sugar.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm going to drink more of that.
And as it gets a little bit older, it's going to oxidize a little bit in that barrel, and you're going to start to bring out some of the sherry notes to it. A little bit of the, in a good way, I don't know how to say it, like without sounding negative, but like a stale taste, but like a taste of like a wet cork of somewhat, almost a sherry, a port wine,
Like kind of like a lived-in kind of taste.
Right, yeah, right, and that's going to develop with age,
in a good way,
as it breathes more in the wood. You know what I mean? So I'm excited for this to develop, especially in the brandy barrels. I think that's going to be really exciting. Yeah, that's going to be a long bottling day. Let me just tell you. But I tell you what, things like I think this is little side projects like this are what, fuel my fun for coming in every week. You know what I mean? Like we get to do little things like this. A beer we did recently, we have an intern here, Kale, who is a fantastic home brewer, just a guy I knew over the years, and he's looking to get into the professional beer world. And I remember what it was like when I got into the industry. Like, nobody kind of wanted to give me a chance there until I hit Dogfish Head. Well, I felt, I wanted to pass along that to somebody else. So we brought him in just to kind of help and shadow. And we actually let him brew a beer a couple weeks ago, and it was actually a Goza, which is a tough style of beer. Yeah. I mean, that's a tough style of beer, and I'll tell you what, he hit it right on the head.
Oh, that was a very good beer.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking at 3.2% alcohol, super sour, and just the perfect amount of sea salt and coriander in it. I mean, it was the perfect balance.
And that's gone, right?
It's gone.
I was kind of disappointed.
If he rebrews it, you have to have some sort of event with the ghost hunters and call it a ghosta.
It's actually called Goza Hunter.
I like that a lot better.
Yeah, no. And it's cool to...
Goza the Traveler. Goza. Was it from Beer Buster?
We had Casper the Friendly Goza.
Gozar the
How
Traveler.
much barley wine have you had?
Yeah, that's it. It's a big one.
It's good.
Anyway, it is really good.
Who are you going to call?
Ghost Hunters. That's what we were.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, and again, we feel it's important to not only fill our obligation here as brewing, but also if we can teach somebody else along the way and give them the opportunity that I think that we were lucky enough to give or have, actually. You know what I mean? I think that's important too. I never want to forget that as I go along in my brewing career. Is I want to give that kid the opportunity to come in, touch the system, brew it, and work with it. You know what I mean?
And it also reminds you why you wanted to do this in the first place.
Right.
Because there are days when you're, raking out the spent grains and on your hands and knees, like scrubbing stuff. And but when you see someone come in, like especially a home brewer, and just seeing their face when they're like,
yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh yeah, that's why I wanted to do this in the first place.
Yeah, my homebrew roots. I mean, Steve and I still homebrew on the side. You know what I mean? We still do it at home for fun. You know what I mean? But those are the days that make me appreciate what we do, and that somebody else out there really wants to do what we do. So why not pass it along? You know what I mean? I think that's important.
And you guys are kind of like rock stars. I mean, seriously, the way the craft beer scene has been growing and
more like
booming
a one-hit wonder.
No.
I
mean, people get excited. I mean, to meet the brewer and you're the guy that brewed this. Like, you are little rock stars. I mean, shit, you're signing your bottles. Come on, rock star.
That's not going to do anything for the popularity of the beer.
That doesn't make it any rarer or taste better, I promise. That just means if it sucks, you know who to find.
That's the most awesome thing about this industry, the humility. Like, brewers are so talented and put in the time and the hard work, and you come home sweaty and dirty and tired and sometimes miserable after brewing a bastard of a beer, but there are people that, aspire to have just a little piece of that industry and be a part of it.
To be that tired, sweaty, miserable guy. Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. I mean, there's nights where we've been here, 8 in the morning and then get out of here till 1, 2 in the following morning. And that was normal in the beginning.
Stuck sparge?
No, I mean, those were nights where we were cleaning and plus brewing, plus moving 3 tanks, plus trying to do everything. And, we kind of time things out now where we always have beer on tap, plus 2 or 3 fermenters full. I hear the murder mystery again. 2 or 3 fermenters full, so that when something kicks, we can pump it right over and get it on tap. But it wasn't always like that. I mean, we had to work really long hours in the beginning. We were working. Yeah. I mean, we were working 18 hours a day there on Sundays, and then going to work at 8 a.m. the next day. You know what I mean? But when you come down and you talk to a customer who likes it, or like when you guys come out and say you want to do stuff like this, I mean, it's humbling to me, at least. It amazes me that you want to come and do things like this. You know what I mean? I think that's awesome, and that's what...
No, the humbling thing is that there are actually thousands of people that want to listen to this. That's the humbling thing. That's awesome.
That too. God, I mean...
So as long as they keep listening, we'll keep coming out.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Like,
and when they stop listening, we'll still come and
we'll still do it anyway.
We just don't have the microphones.
We can listen to each other every week. Yeah,
we can wear the headphones.
Yeah, we can wear the headphones and sit at the bar and have a conversation.
Ooh! Finally!
Oh, here it is.
See, I knew I saved this for last for a reason.
Being that this is the first tasting, Steve, this is pretty fucking amazing.
It is really good.
It's getting a lot of bourbon.
The aroma is amazing.
See, this has been sitting a lot longer, so therefore you could see that this is a good comparison to see something that's only been sitting 2 months versus something that's been sitting almost 6 now.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Oh, and this is the Mad Elf yeast.
Yes, it is.
We get something else in the background of it that I can't put my finger on it.
Cherries.
Let me drink more so I can find out.
There are actually no cherries in this beer. Maybe cherry juice that was left over from the yeast, but there's no cherries in this.
That's why I said it.
I get like a nutty taste out of it, kind of.
A little bit, yeah.
I really like that.
Wow. Yeah, that's a big beer right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's good. And is this... Yes, this will be the first bottle release.
Yeah, middle of February. Yes. We're going to do this in middle of February. That's
Have we officially said what this is into the microphones?
Quadcep.
Okay. Because I don't think we did.
That's true. We got all
barrel-aged quads.
distracted by the aroma.
We did.
11.5% Belgian quad, with
Yes.
candy, sugar, and brown sugar, brewed with or fermented with Mad Elf yeast.
Right.
Thank you,
Aged
folks.
in
Jack Daniels.
Jack Daniels barrel.
A very fresh Jack Daniels
yeah.
barrel.
And I used to drink a lot of Jack Daniels. I don't really drink liquor much anymore, and that aroma, like that, kind of takes me back a little bit because it's there. Yeah.
Jack on the Rocks, Wayne?
Yeah, Jack on the Rocks, twist of lime. That used to be my drink. No, I don't. That gets me in trouble. I don't drink that anymore.
Yeah. We should go fill another pitcher of this before we go home.
No, he wants to get us drunk.
He's trying to take advantage of us. Run! No, that's really good. I'm really happy with that. I think
that's coming along well.
That's a prime example of what the cider where we, like I said, we're 2 months in versus something that's 6 months in. And honestly, God, at 2 months in, it didn't taste any different than that cider. It just didn't taste like any bourbon or anything. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's a great example of what it tastes like from just sitting. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Wow. And it does have like a dark fruit, tarty cherry kind of quality in there. Yeah.
I like that.
It's really good.
And it does not taste anywhere near 11.5%.
No, and it scares me.
It tastes a little big, but it doesn't taste that big.
What are you?
That's what she said too.
You almost finished it.
Almost finished it. But yeah, not quite.
Well, I have some more over here in the
We
pitcher.
got a whole pitcher yet.
Picture of it.
This man needs to drive back to Philadelphia tonight.
Yeah.
Philadelphia, holy hell!
Yeah. I came far for you guys.
Well, we appreciate it.
Wow.
I sat in the back seat of Rich's car. Steph's car.
Actually, it's my car. We
Steph's
drove.
car that Rich drives.
From Reading, right?
Yeah, we
Reading,
live in the
yeah.
Reading area.
Mm-hmm.
And Dan's in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
South Philly.
Dan, you're a trooper.
Oh, yeah.
Damn.
He is a trooper.
Love of the game.
Well, next time you come up, bring me a Pat steak, will you?
Yeah, cheesesteak, will you?
Thank you for not saying Geno's.
Yeah.
I don't think either of them are that great.
Yeah.
I'm not
Anyway,
crazy about Geno's.
You should be bringing us food. You could bring me a vegan steak from Blackbird Pizzeria. I'm going to start requesting.
They do have good pizza there. For being vegan, it's good.
Actually, I got to say, their seitan cheesesteak was pretty good.
Yeah.
Amazing.
If you're going to eat vegan food,
I'm not trying to be an ass, but I gotta know. How do you vegan drinking beer?
How can I not be a vegan drinking
Well,
beer?
Vegan?
Yeah.
Isn't vegan a lot
No
of the
animal byproducts.
the clarifying
The
agents
isinglass.
usually?
Clarifying agents don't count.
Yeah.
Okay, just curious.
Yeah. It doesn't count.
No, just curious.
Like we were at Philly
I had a
Beer
guy
Week.
rip my ass apart about that at the homebrew store one time. I was like, really?
Yeah. We were.
I brew vegan beer, but I will drink pretty much.
Whatever.
I
mean,
even,
it's really.
I even took a sip of Walker.
She did.
Yeah, she did.
Smoked goat brains.
And a brisket beer.
I think about Johnny Walker. I'm like, yeah, me too. But you mean like the goat brain one?
Dock Street Walker.
Should
So
we
back
actually
to the
wrap
beer.
this up? So
Yeah. I'm ready to pee myself. So
Okay, Steve, go.
Go?
What?
Where am I going?
Where is he going?
Talk about the beer. Quick.
Talk about the beer.
did
You mean the
The thing that's already gone?
one that we're almost done with?
Yes.
The barrel aged Quadcept. It's turning out quite well. Thank you, Jack Daniels, for the barrel. Although we did have to pay for it.
and our secret barrel hookup.
And our secret barrel hookup north of Harrisburg. I didn't say if it was 20 minutes or 2 hours away.
That's true.
Could be north of Harrisburg in Canada.
It could be.
Canada is north.
There's a lot of north.
Right. It's a drive to get there.
Yeah.
And I probably wouldn't go on a snowy night.
No.
Getting more and more clues. It's like a riddle we have to solve. I like it.
Well, they get lots of lake effect snows there.
So I have two things to say. One, beerbusterspodcast.com. Sign up for the newsletter. There's a lot of good outtakes from tonight. You will thank me later, I promise you.
Yes.
Two, I really, really look forward to our collaboration brew because I can only imagine what it is like to work with the two of you.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
If
And
it's half as fun as this podcast, yes, it will be fun.
Plan to stay over Saturday night or Sunday night.
I will take off a weekend.
Yeah.
Give me like
I'm
a
not
month
sleeping
to get
here.
off.
I'm
Yeah.
not sleeping
Oh, I'll
here.
totally sleep here.
No, you're not sleeping here. I mean,
I'll sleep right back there.
Sleep in your car.
I'll sleep in the bathroom where she hanged herself.
That is the ladies' room.
you
though.
come to Harrisburg with me, man.
We'll block it off. Nobody needs to know.
Yeah. Whatever.
Is
Yeah, we are-
hooligan spelled Hooligan?
Yep. You're the first one to check into it.
Yep.
Okay. Well,
fanboy.
We've had 8 phenomenal beers tonight.
Very good beers.
I'm almost afraid to ask this, and I probably shouldn't.
Oh, I forgot we had to do that.
What are the favorites? I'm just going to... Wayne, you got to think of something right now. There's no gun to your head, but Wayne, what's your favorite?
Either the espresso stout or the Bube berry porter.
Espresso stout.
Since you put a gun to my head.
As the brewer, I will say espresso stout, definitely. I think that's one of my favorite beers.
All right.
Yeah.
Steve, yours?
I'm going to go with the double IPA that's not quite ready yet.
I kind of thought you would say the Booby Berry. Since is it Booby? Am I like is it Booby Berry or a Booberry or like because Booberry I think is trademarked,
Not booberry,
but
No.
Boob.
boob,
Boob.
as in like
Booby.
singular boob.
Like look at that
Like there's many boobies, but we are thinking about one boob.
one in particular.
We're just thinking about one big boob.
Right, uniboob.
One giant boob.
Right.
It's like one's larger than the other.
Right, exactly, uniboob.
Well, no, I really like that beer, but I'm an IPA guy, so.
All right.
Yep.
I can respect that. I think for me, I have to go with the elementary espresso stout. I am very anxious to see what the apple sauce does. Apple is my favorite fruit flavor overall, and I can't wait to try it.
I think that's
when
going to
it's
end
done.
up pretty
That's
awesome.
gonna be great. Oh,
Easter, man, get ready for Easter. That's what I think we're gonna have.
Man,
out.
I am always ready for Easter.
Yeah. Now we'll make sure you get some. Don't you worry.
Okay.
Don't
All right.
worry.
Good. So if anybody would like to visit you guys on the interwebs, it is boobiesbrewery.com, which I have to spell for our people out there. It is not boobies the way you think it is spelled.
Yeah.
No, it is BUBES brewery.com. If you don't know how to spell brewery, BREWERY.com.
Sounds like what you're thinking, your favorite thing, but spelled different.
It's my 2 favorite things.
Two
together.
favorite things,
Boobies
right.
and
Not just
breweries.
one. Yeah,
Right. Yeah. Totally. And you guys are on Facebook, right?
absolutely.
So what's the Facebook link?
It is actually just facebook.com/Boobies Brewery. You can actually look it right up. And you can also look it up under facebook.com/pages/Boobies Brewery.
No, if you go to facebook.com/Boobies Brewery, it takes you to a different Boobies Brewery page, which is still for this brewery, but it hasn't been updated for a year and a half.
Fantastic. All right, pages/boobiesbrewery.com. Or search me, Brad Moyer.
There you go. Totally.
Search for Boobies Brewery.
That's why this ridiculous web thing is on here.
Okay.
Because I was
Well,
like, this can't be right, and I just put it in, but it didn't take it.
I'm going to simplify this. Google.com, type in Boobies Brewery.
There you go.
BUBES Brewery.
Amen. Yes.
And that'll give you all the information you need to know. And Boobies Hotel, that is haunted. Yeah, we need not say more.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll get somebody to update that Facebook.
Just get an intern to do it. Interns are
Yeah.
Facebook.
Kale.
Kale. Come on, Kale.
Kale, Kale? Like
C-A-L.
Yeah, not like the vegetable.
It would be awesome if
That's
it was
what I thought.
like
You really Kale was a really good. I was thinking leaf.
I wish Kale could have been here tonight. So
Actually, I think
Yeah.
that's parsley and
Yeah.
it's meant to be a garnish.
Right. I just want to say thank you so much for coming out. I think this is a wicked good time. I really appreciate that.
What are you from Boston? Wicked good.
Wicked piss good time. That you guys are showing interest again back in Boobies Brewery, and you believe in our beers and believe that we're trying to change it and take it to a new direction. It's really humbling.
If this is the beginning of what's to come at Boobies, there's a lot of good in your future. These beers are.
And it's only been
Fucking
since
amazing.
August, so we only pumped our first beer out in August.
So 4 months, and we've had 8 beers that are this good.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
yeah,
That's
and
great.
There's more to come, and like I said, we want to work with our local community. We work with like you guys. We got a lot up our sleeve that we want to do, and
Good.
There's
Come to the bottle releases, guys. It will
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
worth your
First
while.
one will be February 2015, and then you also had April was going to be the applesauce. July-ish, you said it was the Amish drive-by, right?
yeah, I'd like
Yeah.
to do that around 4th of July weekend. I think that'd be great, somewhere around there. No way to celebrate independence like getting wasted on a barley wine.
Absolutely.
On
Yeah,
an
absolutely.
English
Just
barley
like
wine.
our
English wine.
Well, they would have been. I mean, at that time, it would have been.
Yeah.
Most things were still English.
I mean, I didn't call it like lobster back or anything. You know what I mean?
Lobster back.
Yes,
I like that.
No, it's amazing to see you guys come out and do this, and I know you guys have a huge following, and that's awesome. And I'm so proud of the small feel of it that our industry is doing, whether it's podcasting, brewing, or supplying, or distributing. I mean, it's just awesome. You know what I mean?
There's so many roles that come into play with the beer industry that it's people need to know about it. And in the world, like me, if I were into craft, I mean, obviously I'm into craft beer, but before I started the podcast, I didn't know where to turn for it. I would not have known you guys were here doing this had it not been for really Steph with her, exploration of all of Pennsylvania beer. But it's just something that's amazing that like the what you guys do here, the fact that you love it so much and you put all of your passion and all of your time into it when you're here, that it's something that people need to know about, and I'm glad that we could be part of this and tell everybody to come to Boobies.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
You guys keep it going. Seriously, that's awesome.
It's an awesome place, lots of history, and some quirky characters you will run into if you come here. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Not even including the ghosts.
Or the brewers.
There's a lot of people running around this place, and they're all interesting.
And a murder mystery.
Yep.
Well, this one really hurts, but it's the end of another episode of Beer Busters Podcast. And it's apparently ancient Egyptian wisdom that says the mouth of a perfectly happy man is filled with beer. Nothing else.
True that.
But beer. Well,
the mouth of a perfectly happy woman is filled with something else.
I'm a perfectly happy man.
I see what you did there.
I'm a sad individual.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for having us out here at Boobies. I love Boobies. I am Dan Baker, joined by my co-host and brewologist,
Steph Hefner.
And our from entertainer,
Wayne Baker.
Until next time, my friends, Google Boobies, and we bid you adieu.
Boobies never go out of style.